What's going on, y'all? I want to show you three mic pre's that I own that have never failed me. And what I mean by never failed me is that they've worked every time on whatever source I went to record them with. I've never recorded something and said I need to change this mic pre because I'm not liking the sound I'm getting, making these pre's very reliable. So I'm going to give you these three pre's as well as tell you what I like to use them on. Let's start with the first one. So the first mic pre that we'll be looking at is the Empirical Labs Mic E. This is a mic pre compressor channel strip, and this is one of the first pieces of gear that I ever bought. It was one of the first professional pieces of gear that I bought, and I really love this channel strip. I've had it for a long time, and this is one of those pieces that I just can't deal without. So the mic that I'm using for this is the Vanguard V4, and I'm speaking to you right now through the Empirical Labs Mic E. So like I said, this is a mic pre and a compressor. I love this on vocals. It's a very clean mic pre, but the compressor section also has a saturation section, so it does compression and saturation at once. Right now I'm on a 2-to-1 ratio, really not getting, just touching a dB of compression. I'll step up the ratio here. So now it should be doing just a little more compression here. And just so you can hear this saturate, the more we crank up the input here, I'll back down on the output some, but you have a warm light where once the total harmonic distortion hits a certain point, you'll see the warm light up, and you'll also get a toasty the more level that you put into it. And this also has the nuke from the distressor. So this is it with the nuke now. We'll go back to like 4-to-1 here. But again, I really like this on vocals, and as well, I really like it on bass. That's the two things that I use this on the most. The DI on this sounds great, but I like miking bass caps with this. Because of the saturation, it can really add a warm, round tone to bass. So a very clean mic pre with a compression saturation that can really take things from clean to colored and anywhere in between. Let's move on to the second pre. So the second preamp that hasn't failed me is the Chandler Limited Little Devil pre. That's this one right here, and fun fact, this is the first 500 series mic preamp. This is the first 500 series anything that I purchased was this Chandler Little Devil pre. So this is a really versatile pre because of the feedback and bias allows you to go from color to clean to in between. I really like this pre a lot on vocals, and I also like it on electric guitar because of how I can drive it. So right now we have the feedback bias in the middle. If I turn this to the left, it's going to give, so you would think that going to the left would be less of something, but on this, going to the left means more feedback, which is going to be less gain. So we need to crank up the input gain by going to the left. So this is with it in the middle, and this is with it now to the left, which is adding lots of feedback. To me, this is a more colored sound. And then going to the right, on this setting here, for me, this is a more cleaner sound. So a lot of different sounds you can get with this pre. You also have a bright switch on here, so I'll put it back in the middle. And this is without the bright, and this is now with the bright. You also have low and high impedance, and the DI on this as well sounds great. So another thing about this pre that I really like is that it's able to run line level signals as well by switching it into line level. So electric guitars, I can really push and change the color and tone with this pre. Really love it for that. And like I said, this is the first 500 series pre that I purchased, and you can see it's still, I've moved a lot of gear around, but the Little Devil has still been here. Now let's move on to the last pre. So the last pre that has never failed me is the Chameleon Labs 7603. This is a channel strip, mic pre, and EQ, and it's based on the 1073, but Chameleon Labs really did their own thing with this to make it their own. They put their own unique spin on it. It doesn't sound like a 1073, which in my opinion is a good thing, but I really like the sound of this pre, and I like this on vocals, and I like this on acoustic guitar as well. So it's not as the preamp part is not as versatile as the Little Devil pre and the Mic E, where you can really change the color of it. But with this having an EQ section, you can really shape the sound the way that you need to. But the sound of this pre, just the pre alone, it's clean, but it also has some warmth in the low mids. It's what I would describe as in between of clean and colored, which is a characteristic that I really like on acoustic guitars. When I'm recording acoustic guitars, I want clean, but this has a little bit of warmth in it that I like on acoustic guitars. And this works really, really well on vocals, which is why I say it's never failed me. Now, this pre I've had for maybe a year or so now. I haven't had it as long as the other ones, but this one has anything that I've put on it, especially vocals and acoustic guitar, has really shined. And one thing to really point out about this pre is that the noise floor does really well. It's a very low noise. Like, I'm at 45 dB gain right now, and I really don't hear any background noise in here until I get up to 50 dB. So this is me now at 50 dB. But a really quiet preamp, I really like that about it. The Mic E is really quiet as well. Features on here, it also has the low and high impedance like the Little Devil pre. I have not tried the DI on here, but it does have one. And the EQ section has inductors in it, so when I flip this in, you can hear just some harmonics being added to the signal here as I turn on the EQ. So even with the knobs flat, it adds some nice harmonic saturation, and I really love this preamp, or this channel strip, I should say. So those are the three mic pre's that have never failed me: the Empirical Labs Mic E, which is a channel strip mic pre compressor, Little Devil pre, and the Chameleon Labs 7603, which is a mic pre EQ channel strip. These are my three go-to preamps right now for vocals when I know I need something that's going to be reliable and I don't have to really fool around with a lot to get a great sound with them. All right, any questions, comments, let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time.